Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Yeah, time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Global Happiness Specialist, Inner Peace Practitioner, Oracle, student, and now I'm going to throw in there mother. Yes, I am someone's mother, but most importantly, a student, an ongoing student, always learning, always elevating, always expanding awareness, consciousness. Oh, this is a never-ending classroom until it's over, until it's over. And when I say happiness specialist, let me just be very clear. This happiness, this is the one that the term that I'm talking about is a internal, personal vibration. Scratch the internal. It is a personal vibration of contentment. It is a personal energy of peace, regardless of what happens. In fact, my definition of happiness is the ability to vibrate an energy of peace, regardless what does or doesn't happen. So walking around, talking all day, 24 hours, in all waking states, vibrating an energy of contentment, regardless of what happens. Is that possible? The answer is yes. The good news is, and how is that possible? How can that be? Well, the good news is, my dear audience, that this happiness stuff, this happiness thing is a practiced skill. Just like any other skill, it is a practice, and it depends on how committed, how much you prioritize this thing called contentment. It is an energy, and it is a personal vibration that I discuss on the show, and I've been talking about this for at least on Blog Talk Radio and on Noon Vibe for 15 years. Well, Noon, maybe a couple of years, but it's the seeking, the searching, but you don't have to do that. I've got answers to the test. And when I say answers, I'm not pretending to, I know everything, but I definitely know this thing about contentment and happiness. I definitely know, when I say no, what to practice. The book that's coming out in less than, now it's down to weeks. The formatting is in its last revisions, maybe the last 2 days, and then a book cover, and it's going to be out, called Programmed for Unhappiness. Programmed for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. And one of the things we're going to talk about today, and this is a part 2 because I keep coming back to this topic, is the lies that are told and sold. What do you mean the lies that are told and sold? Well, some of the lies that are told, when you find your purpose, you'll be happy. Or how about this one? Manifest this manifesting. I know. I get a lot of hate mail, but manifesting that man in this dimension can create something out of nothing. The other thing, listen, what the world sells is dissatisfaction. And all I'm here to share is that this vibration of dissatisfaction, this vibration, this energy, that there needs to be something more than in the present moment, that there's something more that I need to experience other than what I'm experiencing in the moment, is just a bunch of, it's just not true. It is embracing, accepting, surrendering to the present moment with the trust, with trusting that, yes, this moment is enough. This seeking, searching, looking for, wanting something to be accomplished before I can feel content, before I can feel happy. All of that is just a program for unhappiness. The title of the book, Program for Unhappiness. Let me just share a couple of housekeeping before I go on. If you want to speak with me live, the number to call in is area code 646-564-9619. Again, area code 646-564-9619. And if you're on Noom Vibe, you can just ask to join the show. And the other thing I want to share is on my YouTube channel, if you just search Rebecca Norrington, I believe that's it, Rebecca Norrington or Reality Spirituality. I think it's Rebecca Norrington. The 18th episode of Mother and Son Making Sense Out of Nonsense. Wait for it, this is a comedic pause. Plus more. The 18th episode was just taped yesterday. It's a live show every Saturday, live on YouTube, every Saturday, Pacific time, 9:15. My son and I do a show, Mother and Son Making Sense Out of Nonsense, plus more. And it is we started a few weeks ago, and it's just so much fun to go back and forth and banter back and forth and in a fun way, needle each other. And it's really about the relationship between my son and I, plus more, the spirituality, the lessons learned, the growth, the progress, the journey. And one of my favorite quotes, this is from Abraham Hicks, one of my favorite quotes other than my own. Did you say that out loud? What a me. She's so me. One of my favorite quotes from Abraham Hicks is, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. And that's all I'm sharing on this show, is how to experience more peace, how to experience more contentment, how to experience more happiness. Throw in the word joy, because people like that word joy. How to experience more of that along the journey. That's all this show is about. And when I say how, there are specific, and when I say how, it is a practice. Well, what do you practice? Thanks for asking. The practice is gradually, with patience, with time, with commitment. How do you eliminate those program behaviors? And I'm up to 56 of them. 56. The book is going to be out in less than, it's weeks now, less than a month. I'm down to not deciding, but coming up with a cover design. I already have what I want in mind. And it's called Program for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. And the untold truth is that we've all been lied to, but it's not done maliciously. This programming is real. In fact, I was looking at, let me see, no, I can't use my phone right now. I was looking at a video on YouTube with, I don't know if he's the doctor, Bruce Lipton. Maybe he's a doctor, Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's been around forever. Bruce, Lipton. And he was talking about how the first 7 years, there's varying not philosophy, but the first 7 years he was talking about, if you bring home a computer, which is when I talk about programming, if you bring home a computer and you don't have any apps on it, you don't have any programs in it, it's blank. There's nothing. So it's just like us when we're born, a blank slate ready to be programmed. And he describes it even different stages. Of course, I didn't take notes, but different stages where beta, theta, conscious, and all of it, where as a child, all of us have been programmed with these downloaded beliefs that, quite frankly, don't serve, especially if your focus is to feel and vibrate the energy of contentment. So let me just share really quickly before I get to the topic the 5 most common regrets of the dying. I share this at the beginning of the show, mostly, probably 100% of the time, but it's a study done by a hospice nurse, Bronnie Ware, and you can Google it. It's called the 5 most common regrets of the dying. So these people had days to live, weeks to live, months to live, and she asked them, what are your biggest regrets? And so these 5 kept coming back over and over and over again, and they are, thank you for asking, I wish I would have pursued my dreams and aspirations and not the life others expected of me. I wish I didn't work so hard. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings and speak my mind. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. I always put a little, well, sometimes we just outgrow people. And then the last one is, I wish I would have let myself be happier. I mean, is there anything else, people? Is there anything else to this journey other than this vibration of contentment? I mean, are the accomplishments, are the doing, is it really, okay, how about this? Are the accomplishments, are all the titles after your name, is the bank account with millions and millions and millions of dollars enough ensure contentment? I met this gentleman. He's a billionaire, and I say billion with a B. And he's a really interesting guy. He does a lot of charity work. Always, he's flying all over the world doing a lot of charity and just a lot of giving. That's what I want to say. Giving. Big heart. Did I mention he's a millionaire? Yes. And recently his mother died, and I know that only because I follow him on LinkedIn, and he wrote a post about it. Now, his mother, either she was 93 or 95, I don't remember the exact age, and he was the way he started his post was with an energy of, this is another program. When somebody dies, there is a program response. Scratch the response. There is a program reaction, because a response requires a pause, a thought, and a conscious decision. So there was a reaction, and the post was with this energy of, I come to you today. I'm posting this with a sad heart. Now, I'm not making fun of him. I'm just describing the programming and how deep it runs, which most 98% of the population, if they post or when they post about someone dying in their family or a relative or a friend, it is with a sad heart, with just the sympathy, head down. You know what kind of energy I'm talking about. And I'm here to say, and I'm here to declare that is a program. Can you imagine Now, not everyone responds like that. I realize that in the world. But I'm really talking about the U.S. How about that? This country, where I'm from. The response to a death is, I mean, look at the greeting cards. They all say the same thing. So this lie number one that I'm going to hit, this lie that death equals loss. And I've said it before, and I've talked about it before. Again, if you want to call in and speak with me live, the number is area code 646-564-9619. Again, area code 646-564-9619. And if you're in the queue, you could just press the number 1 to speak with me live. So let's get back to death. This idea, and here we go again. There's another program. Not only that death is a loss, and I contend that death is just change. It's a shift. It's a change. The loss is the judgment, saying that loss is the judgment. And so how does that, for the majority, how does that make anyone feel this death is a loss? Well, number one, it's not a light energy. It's not a light vibration. It's on the heavy side. Can we all agree on that one? Yes, we can. And you can respond, react to death any way you please. All I'm doing is offering a different way, a different perspective. And along with that, death is loss. There is energy of this is serious and this is important. Death is serious and death is important. Even though, I mean, what is it? People are dying every second, every minute, every second in this world. And can we, and when I say we, as a global community, come up with another way to respond to death? Another way that aligns with a lighter vibrational energy? Now, that's just one lie. This loss, death is loss. And I get it that I was programmed. I remember when I was in my 20s. Hold on a second. Let me take a little sip of my, what is this, lemon water with garlic and onion and ginger and lime and it's horrible. But actually I've gotten used to it. Hold on just a second. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Okay, where was I? Oh, I remember when I was in my 20s, when my parents were still around. I remember thinking, I said it out loud. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I would do if I lost my parents. I don't know what. I was saying I don't know how I would survive. And I was very serious about that in my 20s. And I'm going to have to say maybe in my 30s too. Who remembers? But that programming, I don't know what I would do when my parents, if and when my parents die. Now, if you've listened to me, you know I have one son. He's 39. By the way, I shared it before, but if you're listening just now, you go to my YouTube channel, and my son and I do a show every Saturday. It's a live show, 9:15 Pacific Standard Time, called Mother and Son Making Sense Out of Nonsense, plus more. And we've had conversations about my death, and even if anything happened to him, I mean, the reluctancy to speak about something that is just a part of life is another program. That being uncomfortable talking about certain, I don't care whether if it's death, sex, whatever topic, that being the shame around it or the embarrassment, whatever word you want to use, is just another program. So back to the mother and son. one of the things that I have put on my shoulders as my responsibility is letting my son know that when I'm gone, he can respond, react in whatever way he feels in the moment. But there's also another way to respond, which is a celebratory response. In other words, focusing on the memories, focusing on what the experiences, focusing on the times as opposed to now I've lost my mother. And this is a topic not too many people talk about, but I like to put it as important, especially if you're a parent and you have children. Well, parents have children. That's an obvious one. What is that? Stating, especially if you're a parent, you have children. Of course. Yikes. No, I'm not drinking anything yet, or smoking anything yet. No, I'm just. Let's get back to the topic. Did I say any of that out loud? Oops. Back, and then we're going to wrap up, and then I'm going to move on to another lie that's told and then sold. The collective response from the community, say Prince dies, or Michael Jackson dies, or any celebrity that sudden, or even Princess Diana, any celebrity or world figure that dies instantly and we're not prepared. There is a global response that is so programmed. And what is my point? My point is to put a spotlight on the programming. Practice eliminating the programming, and then you will be able to experience more contentment. The programming keeps, let me speak for myself, the programming kept me stuck in one state, one way of thinking. Let me get back to the lies. Now the other lie, oh boy, and I get so much feedback and pushback. This lie that humans in this dimension can manifest, can make something, can create something out of nothing, can make something happen. I know, and the car salesmen of the world, the gurus, the motivational speakers, the life coaches, the ones that offer their programs, it's not a judgment about them specifically, because they're programmed too. The selling, it is a community, it is a global community to sell to people what they, and to make people believe that they need what someone is selling. I need what someone is selling so that I can feel a certain way. I need, and usually, most of the time, it's about this success. Be successful. The search, the journey for success. And how does the world define success? I'll wait. The program world defines success based on what you've accomplished. How much cash? Maybe titles behind your name. What have you been busy doing? What have you been busy spending your time doing? And I'm here to say that is another lie. This success is you know what? I call success, and I've said it before on this show, but I label success is the ability to live in the present moment. Genius, isn't it? The ability to live and to stay in the present moment. Just like when we were born, in the present moment. So that means that there is nothing in the past. I have no preferences. I'll come to you in a minute, Jay. I have no preferences. I have no judgments about the future. I'm engulfed in the present moment. Let me just share this one story, and then I'm gonna go to you. I promise. In the queue. Let me just share this quick story. And this story. I actually shared it on the show yesterday with my son, but I'm sharing it with just a different audience. And this is just more of an example of how to practice living or staying in the present moment. Last week I wasn't with you. I went to California for the day. Just flew in, flew out. It's a 45-minute trip. Doesn't get any better than that. But flying, what was I flying there? Yeah, I was flying there. That's right. I was on my way. And this woman, there was only two people in the aisle. It was an exit seat. It was Southwest, and it was an exit aisle. And so usually the exit aisles, they have a little bit more leg room, but not on this plane. It was just as crowded as far as the leg space. But this woman who was sitting to my left, and I was in the aisle seat, and this woman was sitting to my left. Here's just the two of us. And she was a large woman. My hands she was large. And she had large arms. She was large arms. And her arm, her right arm, was covering, I would say, 80% of the armrest. Now, if I had been practicing, scratch that. That's the truth. If I had been not practicing, if I had been in the present moment, in that moment, my ego would have been quiet. My ego wouldn't have had anything to complain about. But because I wasn't in the present moment, I was in the past, having a preference, making a judgment, and not only that, resisting that I didn't have any room for my little elbow. This is what happened. I got my left elbow and I squeezed it in the bottom, the bottom part of the armrest. Maybe I had, 2 inches, 3 inches to squeeze in, and I'm squeezing in, resisting, and the ego. And that's another thing. Separate yourself from your ego. You are not your ego. So know the difference. Separate yourself. The ego is always discontented. The ego is always complaining. The ego is always resisting. The ego finds something wrong with every single damn moment. With the stories and the thoughts. Okay, so back to the little elbows squeezing in. And the ego just had me, and I couldn't get settled. And I was blaming this woman and saying, why doesn't she give me half of the armrest? And then, here we go, since I am a happiness specialist, world only, the universe gave me another perspective. And they said, can you pretend, now I'm in the moment now, back to the present moment, are you able to come up with a game and pretend that woman's arm is really your son's arm or your best friend? You see, if it was my son's arm or my best friend's arm, I wouldn't care if my elbow was touching theirs. I wouldn't care if they took up most of the armrest. I would have been okay, very calm, very at peace with touching my son's arm. But this was a stranger, and you see all the stories, but this was a stranger, and I needed it, and I wasn't getting half of the armrest, and it just goes back and forth and back and forth. Okay. So I felt a relief, an energetic relief for about 5 minutes, and then the ego came back, because the ego doesn't want to live in the present moment. That's where peace is found. But the ego came roaring back, and I'll get to you in a minute, Jay, roaring back and said, and then now I'm back in it, back resisting. And then the universe was kind enough and gracious enough to give me another scenario, which was, do you feel how solid and rooted this woman's arm is on this armrest? Do you feel how concrete, how unmoving it is, how strong and unmoving? And it was. That woman was not moving at all, not with any of my wiggling around, my squiggling around. She wouldn't move a budge, wouldn't budge a tick. And the universe kept talking to me and saying, you feel how strong and solid and unmoving and unshakable this woman's arm is? And I said, yes, I do. What's your point, universe? And the universe responded with, that's how we embrace you, with that same strength, unmovable, solid, grounded, rooted, can't shake it. That's how we have you. That's how we're holding you. That's how we have our claws dug into you, just with that kind of strength and power. Different perspective, shift of energy. And then after a few minutes, and the willingness rising above the ego to let all of that go, let the ego sit in the back seat, and letting all of that go, guess what happened? She started loosening up she was moving around. She started moving around. Now, one person said, well, she was resisting you. No, I don't know what she was doing, but I definitely know that there was a solid, immovable arm there that it would not budge. And it still comes back to being in the present moment and finding a way, even making up a game. Have fun with this. Have fun with this experience, as opposed to one of my students asked me about justice and is life fair? No, there is no justice and there's no fairness. No. And can you be at peace with that? Is that okay? Anyway, let me get to my first call. Hold on a second. Push this button, click that on, click this on, and you are live. Welcome to Reality Spirituality again, Jay. Welcome again. Thank you for holding on.
Welcome, Rebecca. Thanks for talking to you again.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back to the topic.
Yes.
In regards to lies that are told and then sold, I find that right now we're being told lots of lies, but unfortunately there's so many maybe out there that we don't take time to actually investigate them and actually look for some part of truth that or non-truth that's built into those words or things. So I just find there's lots of that going around right now, and I think they can use the distractions to do that to the point where we'll just believe anything after that. So what is a lie is probably the truth, because we just don't want to do anything about it, right?
You know what? You know what you're saying too is the distractions, and those distractions are. I'm just going to speak for myself. I know when I'm distracted. I know when I'm distracted from the present moment. I know when I'm distracted from the truth, and it's interesting. But when you're self-aware, when you live consciously, you're always aware of the distractions. And I'm not even going to say not to be distracted, but the self-awareness is the work, and it's a personal journey. The awareness of what other people do, I cannot. I mean, I got enough going on in the mirror to be subjected to what these people are doing, other than trusting that they are on their own specific journey. But you're right, and the world feeds on fear, and a lot of the population are fearful, and fear is another program too. And quite frankly, fear is like most programs are addicted to fear. I know plenty of people who, if I said, I snap my fingers and your fear would be gone, no, because fear becomes a part of the identity. This journey, this self-discovery, looking in the mirror, is not easy at all. In fact, it is the most challenging experience I've ever encountered. What about you, Jay?
I find that I think fear can actually do some good things and some bad things. One of them is bad, is that it can keep you in a state like that, where actually anything that is triggering your emotional response will actually amplify it. And I think the good thing about fear is that it can either move you in the right direction too, to not be fearful of things by looking at the world in a different way and seeking, questioning everything, because that's the thing. I think the biggest thing for myself and anybody out there right now is to question everything, and using your gut to determine whether it's a lie or it's possibly the truth. I think right now we're really going to be really deceived in the future, and I said this before, is that I think the AI stuff is going to be very, very interesting for people to figure out what is real and what is not, what is a lie and what is the truth. It's going to be very, very interesting in the very near future, because it is expanding and exponentially growing right now. That it's really, really going to be challenging, I think, for most people, including myself. We have to almost question everything on a moment-by-moment basis now. So when you're talking to a person, I think when we're in close proximity to people instead of maybe long distance, is that you can tell by maybe their body language or just in the words that they use that they could be lying too. So I'm just saying there's all sorts of ways to be self-aware of those lies. What you're saying is well, let me just hit on a couple of those topics. Number one, that I practice. The practice is not to be in the future at all. I mean, I'm doing the best I can, practicing staying in the present moment. This future, and I get it. The AI and the there was one group. It was KISS, and so I guess they're putting out a concert, and it's all going to be AI generated. Great, but I cannot be concerned. I have enough to do. I cannot be concerned. The practice of living in the present moment is a full-on 24-hour practice, and so with the future, the only thing that I can do, and I'm only speaking for myself, is to trust, period.
blind trust that everything is going to unfold exactly the way it's going to unfold. There's nothing I can do to stop it. There's nothing I can do to slow it down, speed it up. And as long as I trust and practice that whatever is going to happen in my life when I'm walking on this journey, and I'm on this journey, whatever's going to happen is going to be there to serve me regardless. But if my focus is out to the world, what am I doing? What is that? Can I control anything that is going to happen in the future? Absolutely not. Can I focus on the future and get worried or fearful? Of course, but that's another program. The program is to live in the future or in the past. The ego does not want you living in the present moment. The ego does not want you saying everything is in order. That's not its nature. And so I'm not. I get it. I get the fear. I get the AI. It's amazing, but I'm not giving it any more focus than that. I mean, it's almost zero. I can say 1%. I guess because it's curious, but and how people are going to respond or react, and this is fake and this is real. That's part of the whole plan too. How's that for dealing with the future?
Well, I always say this future comes too quick now, even more. So I always look at that as a gauge, as in sort of like looking down the road and see if there's any issues, like walking down a path and seeing. You can be in a present moment and walking down the path, but you also look down the road, see if there's any curveballs there too. And
walking down the road. What if the road is you can't see? If you're in a fog, what if you can't see past your own? What if you put your hand in front of your face and it's so foggy you can't even see your hand?
Well, I guess you'd find out. You'd stop and wait. Depends on the situation too. Or just wait till the fog clears and proceed.
Go ahead.
So the reason why I say that is that even though we say we're in the present moment, sometimes you got to look a little bit further ahead, and most people, I guess, and not be fearful when that time comes, because you may be prepared a little bit in some sort of way. Something like, say, here's a good one, analogy, is a rainstorm. Because we can look, if we're planning something, let's say going out to a park or somewhere, or a venture, we look at the weather, and we'll bring certain things to prepare just in case it rains or snows or whatever, right, for any type of weather condition, or when it's hot. And you won't get in a state of fear or emotional distress if something does happen, because you're prepared. So I find that now is to see what's going on in the world a little bit, something we can't control, but it could come to our into our area of living, if you want to call it that, which is probably right now for most people it's about money, and see that maybe I should do this in order to maybe save money, for example, in the future if something does happen. You'll be prepared for some sort of thing coming up. But like I said, things, we don't know what could happen out there. We really don't know. We want a certain day or a specific thing that's going to happen, and we really don't know. But even just like when for the weather conditions coming up,
you don't know, and quite frankly, I don't care. I can't be concerned about the future. And so let me go back to your weather analogy, which was, I give you 2 thumbs up for that one. However, I just put the umbrella in my car if I'm out and I have an umbrella in my car. But if I don't have an umbrella, then I get rained on, and it's just water. And I get with the preparation, I'm just saying, if you're preparing for the future and you've got a little speck, a little sand of fear, if you're preparing for the future and based on some kind of little teeny, mini fear, then it's the fear that's the issue and the lack of trust. I mean, however, I don't know. I just have a different way. Wherever I find myself, I know that I'm going to be able to navigate the circumstance. Whether it's, in fact, that's a really. So when I was in Oregon, they have this every summer. There's mad fires, forest fires, and sometimes the forest, I mean, it goes for miles and miles and miles. And I just remember there was one summer where it was really close to where I was living. When I say close, I mean maybe 20 minutes away. 20 minutes away from where I was living. And so people were getting a notice to evacuate. And I'll never forget. I said, well, if I have to evacuate, what do I want to put in the car? In other words, the living for the future and the preparing, I don't care how, well, scratch that, because some people just love to prepare. But I'm just not, I just trust that I will be prepared regardless of what happens in the future, regardless of rain, regardless of fire, regardless of earthquakes, regardless of whatever. I trust that whatever I'm going to experience is going to be part of my journey, and I'll be fine. That's a lot. I said a lot. And what is told, the lies that are told are prepare. I mean, the world sells fear, sells dissatisfaction. Prepare. And the world just eats it up. There's so much fear that is fed to people, and it's part of the daily diet. I'm just not buying into it anymore. I'm just not. I'm going to scratch anymore. I was never one of these just afraid. I mean, I got other things but I just wasn't afraid of the future like that. And I get it, but know that that's another program. It's just another program of fear of the future and fear of what's going to happen. That the masses get sold earthquake, when I was in California, earthquake preparation kits. I mean, okay, I get it. Have some water. Have water in the garage. Okay, extra water. Then what? How can I prepare? Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Anything else you want to share, Jay? And I just want I just want to say that be mindful, not just you, but for myself too, just be mindful of what is the intention, what is the agenda underneath all of it. Is it based on fear or is it based on trust? You can't have both.
I think it's actually, no, it's not actually, when we actually talk about fear too, is that I think we got to realize that it's the reality of the situation right now, and we can look at historical way, or even actually look how the mind works actually too, but we got to look at actually history in some sort of patterns and cycles that this is how humans responded to. And the powers that be actually use that against us to do that without actually, they kind of hinted to us, okay, in some sort of ways, where it's through media or mostly through media right now. But you got to look at the reality of some situations right now where, something could happen, right? So for myself, it's like I see all this stuff going on around, and I don't get emotionally attached to it. I just see for what it is right now, and including, for myself. I'm just going to say for myself, and because you never know what happens. Hope for the best and hope it doesn't happen. The worst doesn't happen. So I think right now, that's how I look at things right now. But the thing, biggest, the lies that we're being told right now will actually deprive people from the reality of what the situation is for most people in this world. So, that's the thing. So I think distractions are lies, sometimes lies too, to keep us distracted from actually just seeking out, just being in the moment and the reality of the situation.
And I love that. And what you're saying is, so either you're a herd animal, not you, just you, but either you're a herd animal or you're not. And herd animals follow a program, and herd animals respond the way the majority of people respond. No judgment, I'm just saying, either you are a herd animal or you're not. So it is an individual game where you're looking in the mirror and what are my programs, what is the truth and what is not the truth, and only the individual can do that work, do the work in the mirror. And it is,
that's true.
The emotion. Let me just talk about emotion for a second and this growth. And thank you, Jay. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being part of the show. Let me just talk about these emotions, because this is another lie. These are more lies. Who is labeling emotions? What entity is saying this is sad and this is lonely? What's the difference between sad and lonely? Who defines that? Who's the one that came up with that? What's the difference between sad, lonely, and what else was another? Resentment. All of these emotions or these energetic vibrations are all lower vibrations, and there's a difference between low vibrations and higher vibrations. Can we all agree on that, please? Can we all agree on that? Low and high. I'm looking at my map of consciousness right now, the one with Dr. David Hawkins. It's a map of consciousness, the name of the level, the energetic log. So the emotions start, or feelings, emotions start at 20, and they go all the way up to 700 to 1,000. So this is something that Dr. David Hawkins, and you can Google it, put together, and it's a good guideline as far as either you're vibrating at a low level vibration or a higher one, period. But this pride, scorn, demanding, indifferent, inflation, aggressive, anger, hate, craving, regret, despair, blame, humiliation, guilt, shame, apathy, hopelessness, tragic, vindictive, condemning, disdainful, all of them are a low vibration, period. Can't scratch that. This is what I do. I practice not labeling any of my emotions anymore. What's the difference between lonely and sad? And grief, what is it? It's just a low vibration. It's just a low vibration. And then the higher vibration, the higher energetic vibrations are, here we go, I'm just reading off the list, neutrality, which is another place. Here we go. This is another practice that I've just, it's a recent one, living in a state of neutrality. What's that? Living in a state of neutrality, meaning that there is no meaning to any of this shit that happens. It's just part of the journey. Who gives it meaning? What entity gives this life meaning? Living in or practicing living in a state of neutrality means that, okay, I won the lottery ticket, and or my car, let's see, my car is not working. I need a new engine. My energy is not shifting. My energy is not shifting from the lottery ticket to the car needing a new engine. And if it does, if my energy does shift a lottery ticket, $100 million, $500 million, it will shift for a second. But the practice is to live in a state of neutrality. So it doesn't matter what happens, whether it's a rain, whether it's a storm, whether it's a sunny day, whether what the world says, this is good, or what the world labels bad. My energy does not shift. And that is a practice. So let me just read some more that are higher levels. Love, joy, peace, acceptance, forgiveness, understanding, serenity, meaningful, harmonious, satisfaction, feasible, affirmation, enabling, intention, transcendent, revelation, illumination, all being, one, loving, benign, perfect, self. All of those are higher vibrations. Now, can we all agree that maintaining or sustaining a higher vibrational place, you are going to experience life differently? You see how there's no judgment? Life differently than the people that live at a lower energetic state. And which takes me to another example, and please forgive me. Scratch that. Don't forgive me for anything. I didn't ask for your forgiveness. I was having a conversation with a woman yesterday, and we exchanged a lot of ideas. And one of the things that she said to me, and this is just another program, here we go, and I love her dearly, it was love at first sight. But one of the things that she was talking about is a diamond, and how we're all diamonds, and that polish your own diamond, and so you shine in the world and all of that. I get it, and that's another program. You ready? Seatbelts, please. Who's the one that says a diamond that is shined, or a diamond that is shined and cut and now delivered, and it's in a ring, and it's gorgeous, it's, 5 carats, 3 carats, a perfect diamond. Who's to say that a shiny diamond is better than a diamond that hasn't been processed yet? Who's to say that shiny is better than not shiny? You see how deep this program is? And I'm on a campaign to expose all of the programming. And especially nowadays, excuse me, especially nowadays, now there's a gentleman, I forgot his name, but he supposedly, what is his name? You can Google it. He's come up with this flawless, fake, synthetic diamond that unless you are a jeweler, you can't tell the difference between a real diamond and a synthetic diamond. But the programming, and I had it deep with the diamond, the program, okay, thank you. The programming is that real is better, that a shiny diamond is better than a diamond you just pull out of the cave. Who says that? Anyway, I just want to be mindful, just sharing, to be mindful of the programs and the lies that are being told and the lies that are being fed, that one is better than something is better than something else. In other words, a person who travels the world, speaks all over the world, has 12 books, 15 books, is better than a person that, or has a higher level of success than a person who maybe is a waiter the rest of the entire life. Who says which one is better or more attractive? I'll tell you what's more attractive. Whoever can find contentment, whoever can lock into contentment And that has nothing to do with how much money you're going to have or how many titles you have behind your name. This contentment, the wealthy will tell you that contentment isn't found in a bank account. The valuing self, none of that has anything to do with your inner peace. No accomplishment. You may feel satisfied for a moment, and then what are you going to do after the moment is past? So the practice is to be rooted in, stay rooted in this vibration of satisfaction, this practice living in a state of neutrality. It doesn't matter. This is meaningless. Humans, the ego puts a meaning on everything. And I'm here to tell you, I'm on this meaningless train. Meaningless. The book. My book, Program for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth, coming out in a couple of weeks. Meaningless. I was inspired to write it. I was inspired to complete it. But other than that, no ego. There's nothing else other than that. If somebody buys it, yay. If somebody doesn't buy it, that's okay too. What is all this meaning put on these programs? And I'm not going to do it, especially since I'm the leading happiness specialist in the world, on the planet. Woo. Okay. Again, if you there is a on my YouTube channel. It's called Mother and Son Making Sense Out of Nonsense plus more. We just taped our 18th episode every Saturday morning live on YouTube, 9:15 Pacific Standard Time. Thank you. And with that, it's going to be the end of the show. Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday, Pacific Standard Time at 9 a.m. My website is RebeccaNorrington.com. Follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington. Follow me on LinkedIn. My Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. YouTube channel, putting up some videos. And my first book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon. And I've written a couple of chapters in some collaborative books. But the book that's coming out in the next couple of weeks, Program for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth, I'm listing 56 program behaviors that have been proven to subtract from your contentment, from your happiness. And again, happiness is a practiced skill. Contentment is a practiced skill. Inner peace, again, another practice skill. Until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who the hell you are. You are a physical extension of the universe, always changing, conscious energy, always evolving, always growing. Love is patient and love is kind. Be kind and be patient to yourself by accepting yourself in every moment. Be your own best friend, and remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio with yours truly, global happiness specialist, Rebecca L. Norrington. Remember, happiness is a practice skill, and I promise you, the more you practice, the more peace you're going to find, and the more peace you're going to find, the more you're going to experience. Whatever you practice is going to reflect on your experiences. Have a conscious week. Thank you for listening. Reality Spirituality.
Yeah. Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. Reality Spirituality. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Reality Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality Spirituality. now we get real. Yeah, time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm